Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video, and this time I'm going to be showing you how to make a fursuit tail. So first, you're going to take a pattern. I made this one myself out of cardboard, it just kind of needs to be tail shaped. Also, mark any markings down on the pattern. Generally, if you have markings, I suggest cutting them out of the pattern, but mine was easy enough so I didn't do that. Once you've got your pattern, trace it onto your fur. Be careful and pay attention to the direction of the fur. Also, make sure you have a seam allowance, basically a border around your pattern. The biggest it should be is 1/2 inch, which I found worked well for me. It basically just makes sure that when you sew it, you have extra space so that it doesn't shrink down too much. Once you've traced your pattern, cut out your fur, and using a knife. I use an X-Acto knife. Do not use scissors because it'll cut the actual fur and will make it look oddly shaved even if you haven't shaved it. Then you're going to want to do the same thing, tracing your pattern and cutting out the fur for any other colors you're going to use for your tail. For mine, I was using black and white, so I have to cut out the pieces of black fur, and then I cut out the pieces of white fur. So the next thing you're going to want to do is take the pieces that you cut out and then brush them with a wire brush. This one I just got it at a pet store because it's used for brushing pets, I suppose. You're going to want to do that so that all the fur that came off while you were cutting it will be taken out, which will clean it up a lot, as you can see from the brush. Next, you're going to want to line up the pieces of fur and then pin anything that needs to go together for sewing and stuff. So what I'm doing now is just lining up the pieces and pinning them together. I use safety pins, and I generally do the two sides and the middle, and sometimes more in between depending on how big it is and such. There's also another kind of pin, I'm not really sure what it's called, but it has it's the type with the head and it doesn't have the safety pin. You can also use those to keep the fur together, though sometimes they can get in the way, and you definitely do not want to sew over them using a sewing machine because it'll break your needle. Also, when pinning the fur together, you want to make sure that as much fur as you can, you stuff it back into the tail so it's not on the outside, so that when you do sew, the seam doesn't get as much fur stuck in it. I use a sewing machine because it's faster and it's stronger, and I'm just using a straight stitch, I believe, which works pretty well for me. This is where I was just sewing the white and the black pieces together. Next, what you're going to want to do is pin the two sides together, but make sure it's inside out so the fur is all on the inside. Again, I pin the ends and the middles and anywhere else I need to, and so that it stays together while also keeping the fur inside as much as possible so that the seams, again, will not get so much fur stuck in it. And then I just sew it again, but on the sides, I guess. So once you're done sewing, you're going to want to turn the tail inside out and brush out all the seams again so that any fur that did get stuck will not be stuck anymore. I'm just using the wire brush again. It also helps to get rid of any of the loose fur that you didn't take out the first time. So here I am getting a bunch of polyfill stuffing and then just stuffing it. So once you've cut it out, you want to put it against the tail and then pin the circle in various places. Personally, I put it on 4 sides, so on one part, then across from it, and then like basically to make a plus sign, and like that. And then I'm also cutting out some elastic band as belt loops. I personally use 2, but you can use 1. And so you just keep sewing around the entire circle. I take out the pins when I reach them. The pins are mostly just so it stays in place and so that I don't accidentally sew too much of part of the circle to too small of an area in the fur. Once you're almost to the end of the circle, basically where you started, you're going to want to just stop for a moment and then put extra stuffing in so that it doesn't look limp at the top and stuff. It's just up to you how much you put in there. And then afterwards, you just continue to sew the rest of it. I end at the strap so that I can hide the end of the thread inside of the strap. So basically I just put it through one side of the strap and then I just cut this thread and tie it off. And then once that's done, I just brush the tail one more time, and then it's done. Enjoy your new tail that you made all by yourself. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like my videos. See you next time.